And yes, if you have ever have this type of experience, please share on the comment section. I would also love to learn. Okay.
Thank you, Lily. So, allowance is made under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976 for fair use for the purposes of education, criticism, and comments. The content is developed under the free speech protections, and commenters are encouraged. So, Lily is sharing her testimony about how Dadim survived a life-threatening illness. She came out to say how her husband had survived poison, he passed out, severe pain, was rushed to the emergency room.
I want to quickly come out here and create awareness slash share my testimony. I've been going through a lot, my family. So I want to come and share what happened and, of course, educate you guys so that you will learn a lesson from what we experienced.
Breaking news, Lily don't reveal say not be public health specialist. Now, we all know that last year we had this issue where Lily came to reveal her certificates and she said that she had a master's in public health.
Forget, say we need to sit down here, they talk anyhow. I have a profession that I have never shared on the streets of YouTube.
And we all remember that this was the profession. She has a master's. She has a master's in public health, although she's not come out to defend this master's. But let's say if we're going to believe that she actually has a master's, what does a master's of public health, what does it mean? Master's of public health is somebody who should really know about food poisoning because she's an MPH or Master of Public Health graduate, yes? So what is public health? Public health means that you prevent diseases, promote health, and protect communities from public health issues such as foodborne illnesses. Her responsibilities are to identify and prevent the spread of infectious diseases, conduct food safety inspections in restaurants and markets, educate the public, and investigate any outbreaks of food poisoning. So, this is what Lily should be able to do as a public health graduate. But now she's come out to say that her husband is poisoned. I want to tell you now that Lily don't tell us say it not be any, she not get any masters in public health. Now, Lily came out to describe what happened to Dadim. She said in the morning she prepared breakfast, but she excluded her husband. I don't know why. Why would you exclude your husband from the breakfast? You said it was because he was at home, but that doesn't make any sense. He was at home. Why you not give him food, make it chop?
I think I left around 9. I made breakfast for everybody, excluding my husband because he was home. So I felt like it is just an hour or two something, and I'll come back and fix food for ourselves. He kept calling me, how far? I was telling him, how come no. So around 3, and I called him to tell Cindy to make noodles for the boys.
So you don't give your dadim, you don't give him food chop for the whole day, yeah, and then you now came back by 4 p.m.
He have appointment to go somewhere where they were doing events. There's like it's something that he was supposed to go for, and I'm like, you can't wait. He said he wants to shower, and that's okay. Oh, yeah, shower.
So is it everything that you tell your husband to do? So if he wants to shower, he has to shower. If he needs to eat, he needs to wait for you. Because I don't understand, why was it the whole day he was at home, he not chop? Are you sure he didn't eat anything that whole day, Lily, before he now went to that event?
Before I could get home, it was around after 4, something like that. And when I saw him, truthfully, my first eye seeing him, he looked so slim and thin. So hey, daddy, me takazakwa arukezi. It just you looked you just woke up dry, yeah, like fecha. Ha. He said maybe because he hadn't eaten. So we now pecked and then he left.
So before he leave, come off her house, he was already sick. That's what you're telling us. So he now returned at 7 p.m.
He got back around. He didn't spend up to 1 hour plus because he had gone late. So he got back around, let's say 7 p.m. That day I was making pasta and vegetable sauce. So I finished my vegetable sauce and then I served dinner. My husband wasn't eating the way I expected him to. So I now said, in what appetite? He said yes, the food he ate at the event had not digested yet. And I said, okay. I ate. I think he ate like, let's say high as 7 spoons or 6 spoons. And then we ate and then, of course, and then he slept. And he brought the duvet and covered himself. I think 3 hours later, he choked from sleep. I was coughing, I was hitting his back, and he got himself, and then he went back to sleep. He did this choking sensation after 40 minutes, or let's say 1 hour again. The thing repeated itself. He went back to sleep.
So that choking looks like he was like choking on his vomit, or he was very dehydrated. He was very dry, and that's why he was choking.
In the fourth time he repeated, he had gone to the bathroom, vomiting. Wow, like 8 times.
So now he has he's feeling cold, he's choking, and now he has this vomit which is coming out about 8 times. Yeah. So these are all signs that he's becoming very sick. But remember, Lily, you're meant to be a public health specialist. So what did you do?
In that seat that my husband was seated, I started anointing him there. He now started.
So as a public health specialist, you started anointing him with oil at midnight. You didn't do anything else with somebody that was vomiting about 8 times. He's choking. He was already feeling sick from earlier on in the day. You didn't do anything.
There, he now started purging.
But Lily, you are a public health specialist, so surely you would have done something now. Now, around this time, around midnight, you said that your daughter also became very sick as well. Did she also attend that event with Dadim?
Mommy, poo-poo. I took Kamsi to my own room, and of course, she was doing what she was doing there. She said she feels like she wants to use the loo again. And then Kamsi called me, Mommy, vomit. Normal, like, wow, 3 times.
So your husband is sick, Dadim is sick, your child is sick. Still, what are you doing, Lily, as a public health specialist? Anything?
He now started purging. He had come to use the loo like total 4 times. And I said, okay. At this point, I was exhausted. I told him I'm going to sleep, but if there's anything, please wake me up.
So Lily, as a public health specialist, you went to bed. Your child was sick. You said that you now, after purging and vomiting, she also went to go and sleep. But your husband was still sick. But you said, wake me up if there's anything. As a public health specialist, what should you do? Because we know that this now was a food poisoning case. As a public health specialist, this is one of your jobs. You should have recognized it was food poisoning. But what would you have done? You should be able to recognize symptoms early, provide immediate intervention, ensure proper hydration. You know, you went to go and look for Andrew's salts, but that was it. A little bit of water, and then seek hospital care, because it was a severe case. He's already choking. He has this vomiting, projectile vomiting, which is just coming out. He has severe diarrhea or purging. And you didn't do anything as a public health specialist.
I now slept. Kamsi also slept. I didn't know that while I was sleeping throughout the night, my husband kept purging. My husband said he purged uncountable times.
So, Lily, you are Master of Public Health. What happened to this? What happened to your certificates? Huh? That you didn't know what to do for your husband.
If he purge, he'll be fine, because the purge comes with this painful ruffles on his stomach, like he feels this pain, this painful sensation in his stomach. And once he pushes it out, he will get himself. Then some minutes, the pain will come back again.
Now, wow. So by this time now, it's 3:00 in the morning. So what are you doing, Lily? 3:00 in the morning, public health specialist. Surely by this time you say, hey, food poisoning, or let's go to the hospital, or Kamsi, Dadim, let's go. Bring water, bring this one, bring this thing. What were you doing, Lily?
When the 3 a.m. alarm rang, I woke up. I saw him laying on the floor. In my head, I just felt maybe because they had taken the light, maybe he started feeling heat, and then he went to lay on the floor.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh. Oh, my words. Gosh, Lily, you really make me laugh.
When the 3 a.m. alarm rang, I woke up. I saw him laying on the floor. In my head, I just felt maybe because they had taken the light, maybe he started feeling heat, and then he went to lay on the floor.
Oh, God. Lily, you not be public health specialist. I don't understand. So your husband has been vomiting, choking, has diarrhea, is weak. And you wake up at 3 o'clock, you see him lying on the floor, and you think, oh, he's just there because of heat. You didn't go to say, Dadim, Dadim. You didn't try to go and shake him or anything. Now, wow. So you've now gone back to bed. It's now 5 o'clock in the morning. So what happens now, Lily?
See him again in the room, and now quickly rushed to the bedroom. And I saw my husband seated at the toilet seat like this and laying his head like this and his hands like this. Yeah, Dadim, he answered me, now your name. Anyaya, his eyes was already at the back. His neck done long. This man had reached. Yeah, oh yeah, he dried up immediately.
You see the reason why, even if we don't go to verify your certificates, you're an editorial with Wes, even though we verify that your certificates are fake, it's the way that you people speak that lets us know it's a load of nonsense. Like, editorial cannot count, but she's saying she's an economics graduate. How? You yourself are saying public health, and you don't even know just the basic things of public health. Like, even if you didn't even go to school, you would know what to do for your husband now. So I just don't understand. Your husband now has severe dehydration. He has been vomiting, losing fluid for hours, vomiting, purging. And you're now surprised to find him on the toilet with his eyes in the back of his head. Why I not get into the back of your head before?
He could not hold the stool.
So you now go to a hospital which is near your house.
We now jacked him, we helped him to the car, rushed to a particular hospital where I was going when I was pregnant. We started doing everything. They stabilized him because he was breathing high. His BP had gone low. Within 10 minutes on 3 drips. And that was how we battled his life. We spent days in the hospital. They had discharged us. He was still stooling 10 times, 13 times, 7 times in a day. So I quickly bought Floranorm and then got back, mixed it immediately and gave him. I gave him that Floranorm around 1 p.m. That was the end of stooling.
So what is Floranorm? Floranorm is a yeast that you give that it helps with diarrhea, dehydration, and the shock because of the low blood pressure. So what it basically does, it just puts healthy bacteria back. The bacteria that have been lost because of all the vomiting, diarrhea, it puts it back. And then it gets rid of or neutralizes the bad bacteria which is there, and also helps to absorb water. Yeah, and that will now reduce the amount of diarrhea that he's having. Yeah, so you gave him the Floranorm. So that suggests that definitely there was something to do with the bacteria. Something was wrong with bacteria in his system. So what was the problem? What was wrong?
And then they ran him tests. The result came out, it was food poison. They saw bacteria in his blood, which shows that it was food poisoning.
So Lily, my question is, why did you not know that it was food poisoning? I don't understand. Because remember, you are meant to be a master's in public health. A master in public health, as I said before, aims to prevent diseases, promote health, and protect communities from threats such as foodborne illnesses. So you should know how to identify and prevent the spread of food poisoning. So why is it that your husband was sick for hours and hours and hours? You woke up at 3 o'clock, you were anointing him with oil, you didn't know what was going on. Yeah. So as I said before, this certificate, we've already proven that it's fake. But once again, you've come out to prove once again that you don't have a certificate or you don't have a master in public health. There's no way, absolutely no way, that you don't even know the basic things of your specialty, what you've gone to go and study. 5 to 6 main things that can cause food poisoning. So what is the cause of the bacteria in the blood? Dr. Lily, master in public health, please tell us.
Now, this is where the lesson comes in.
Okay, tell us the lesson, I beg.
Where he went that fateful day, he said he ate Nsala soup, white soup, and swallow. That the soup was so delicious, so sweet.
Is Daddy trying to tell you that your food is not? Okay. So this is one explanation you're giving us, Dr. Lily, that it was the white soup that he ate at the event. But it's wrong because remember, you said that he was sick before he even went to that event. He was already sick around 4 o'clock. He looked slim, he looked dry. He only ate that soup around 6 to 7 o'clock. So that means he was already sick before the event. Food poisoning usually takes at least 6 hours to appear. Yeah. And no one else was sick at that event. You didn't come and say, oh, yes, that hospital where you took Dadim to, which was close, because the event was close to your house. The hospital was close to your house. So if anybody was sick, from food poisoning, you would expect that some of them would be in that hospital. You didn't tell us anything about, yeah, many people were sick from that food poisoning. It was only Dadim. Yeah. So it's likely that his food poisoning started from the house. Food poisoning is essentially just bacteria in the blood. This is what was found in the hospital in the test. Had bacteria in the blood. Now, the common food poisoning in Nigeria is caused by these types of bacteria that you can see here. There's 6 types. Yeah. Now, the Nsala soup and the swallow that he had that you're saying caused the food poisoning would have been boiled at very high heat. So it's very unlikely that it will carry bacteria unless it was contaminated after cooking. Even if it was contaminated after cooking, if you look down here, like leftover soup Nsala stored at room temperature, the time for him to now get the symptoms of, the choking, the vomiting would be 30 minutes to 6 hours after. So you could say, that's what I'm telling you now, that he went to the event. When he came back by 7 o'clock, it fits within this time. He was now sick. But if you look here, your husband had choking, cramps, vomiting, purging, and shock. Yeah. This bacteria here, which can be found in this leftover soup, like the white soup, doesn't cause those problems. It only causes vomiting and very mild cramps. So even if the Nsala was a problem, he would not have had those big issues that he was having all night, dehydrating, eyes inside his head. So it's very unlikely. What is more likely is that these problems that Dadim had are caused by these 3 things here: Salmonella, Clostridium, E. coli, yeah, which can be found in, not cooking your protein well, leaving things like rice and mai at very warm temperatures, or not washing your vegetables. Yeah. So this is suggesting that because he had these symptoms, he would have had one of these 3 things. He would have been infected or contaminated maybe the day before. And you're not telling us that he went anywhere else. There was no other event you told us, which means he ate food in your house. He ate food in your house. And that's where he now got the infection from. Yeah. So you are the one that actually poisoned him. It was not the white soup and the swallow.
And remember, he hadn't had anything. No food had entered his system before he ate that food. Spices was too much on that food.
How do you even know it was spicy? You chopped the food yourself. Were you there?
So my husband eating that food with empty stomach. And my husband is that type of person that has this soft stomach. Only like loose stomach.
How can you be a public health graduate? I don't understand. And you're speaking like this. It's like editorial counting. Like, oh, yes, it was one commenter, then another one. That's making it to... How do you people come up with these degrees and then you cannot even speak that? What do you mean soft and loose stomach? I don't understand. So even this excuse that you're giving that the spices in the soup were too much is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because spices do not cause food poisoning. You told us clearly that the test showed that he had bacteria in the blood. Do you remember, Dr. Lily? He had bacteria in the blood. Spices do not create bacteria that causes that vomiting, that projectile, the diarrhea, the shock. Yeah. Even if they're going to cause irritation to the stomach, they're not going to make him so dehydrated and for bacteria to enter his blood. That's what was shown on the test. Also, remember that your daughter was also sick. Did she go to the event to eat white soup? No. So the fact that your daughter also had vomiting and diarrhea as well means she did not eat the event food. She also ate something in your house. You are the person cooking for your family. So you're the one that introduced this poison to them. So it means that the food poisoning came from the home. Yeah? So please give us another reason why you're saying that, you got food poisoning from this event.
For example, I went there and I ate the same food he ate. This thing no go do me, but it go do him.
Lily, public health specialist. What do you mean? Not everyone reacts to food poisoning the same way. So your daughter was sick too, proving that your food was bad. Yeah?
Then, second lesson here is if you ever find yourself not eating anything for a day until like 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., please find something soft to eat or eat from where you can recognize the food, like eat from home or find something easy to put in your tummy before you now eat poison.
I mean, there's nothing wrong in eating at home, following hygiene practices. I have no problem with that. So yeah, from there you have a point. But this one about if you eat on an empty stomach, then the poison is going to attack you more. Lily, you're a public health graduate. This is what you're saying. Yeah, it does not cause food poisoning. How is that going to get bacteria into the blood? I don't understand. That people might feel a bit of irritation once again because of spicy food or eating on an empty stomach, but it's not going to cause bacteria to enter the blood to the extent that your husband collapsed on the floor.
Because the problem my husband had it been he ate at home before he now ate that one, if for no do am, he would just loosen up his purge or whatever, but he will not be that sick. I just want to believe it was spice. Is either coming from spice or coming from the plate that they used to serve the food? Maybe they didn't wash it properly, but just know that it was food poison.
Oh, we see so much on this street. It's so funny. Bacteria in the blood, Lily. Remember, it's bacteria in the blood. So you're now saying that maybe the plate they used at the event was dirty. It's wrong. Yeah, it does not explain how severe his symptoms were. Does it mean that if people don't have good hygiene and serve dirty plates, that people cannot have problems? Of course they can, but it would not be full blown to that extent that your husband was sick. Your husband was choking. Your husband was vomiting projectile. Not like vomiting, like the vomiting, I'm sure, was going across the room. Yeah, he had severe diarrhea. That was poisoning. His blood pressure was low. He was in shock. Yeah, so contamination from a plate would not have made him so sick. And also remember, your daughter was also sick. Yeah, so that kind of severe food poisoning does not come from eating contaminated food from a dirty plate. So what about your cooking? Like you mentioned the vegetable soup. Maybe you made vegetable soup the day before. Maybe your vegetable soup may have
And
caused
guys,
it.
there's this thing vegetable does. That was what happens to Kamsi. Not that it was anything. I just told you guys the Okunoka that I entered that night being a mother. So Kamsi's own was just he had the same type of stomach with my husband. It's just the vegetable. Sometimes vegetable went on a cut off, not for me.
So how can you say this, Lily? I mean, at the end of the day, your daughter had the same problem that your husband had. Now you're making excuses for the fact that your daughter had the symptoms, but it wasn't the same as what your husband had. Yes, I mean, maybe she didn't eat as much as your husband. Maybe the day before she had something different from your husband. She had a little bit from, I don't know, but the fact is that both your husband and your child was sick around the same time. The thing is, it's like with this statement that you're making, it's like you're trying to admit that it was your food, the vegetables for your daughter, but not for your husband. You want to deny that any food that you cooked would have caused your husband to be that sick. Yeah, but you cannot deny that both your daughter and your husband was sick, both at the same time, which means the contamination came from your house on the same day. Yeah, and she didn't go to that event. So Kamsi, of course, wasn't as sick as her dad, but it could just be maybe the day before. Those vegetables that you cooked on that day, maybe you cooked it the day before, that was what was contaminated. It took 6 to 24 hours, 48 hours to now show. It could be that maybe your daughter ate less, so she didn't, once she had cleared, everything had come out with the vomiting, the purging, she was fine. And then, of course, her immune system as a child is a lot stronger, so she can fight infections more. But your husband, his immune system, it will mean that he's a lot weaker, maybe stress, dehydration, too much nagging, he's very tired, who knows, you understand? But it made his symptoms worse. So you don't want to admit that your husband, possibly was poisoned in your home, because it means you have to accept full responsibility. Yeah, so if you keep saying the event, it removes you from that blame. But the reality of everything you've told us is that you caused that food poisoning. So the question is, are you truly a master in public health? Because the way that you responded, it doesn't make any sense for somebody that has a master's in public health, a certificate. because you would have really known what to do. At the moment, it's looking like that certificate that you've got. We've already proven it's not real, but definitely this, how you've handled your husband's case, proves it. If truly you were a public health specialist, as soon as you knew that your husband was sick, you would have been asking your husband, what did you eat in the last 24 hours, including even your food at home, because it doesn't mean because he ate food at home that you are neglectful. You understand? But that's the thing that you'd be asking. You would check also if other people from that event were also sick, because you are a public health specialist. You would also look at your kitchen. Oh, did I leave the food out? All mothers, they would do this. Did I leave the food out? Was it like a warm temperature? And then he now ate it. You understand? Was it stored safely? Was it maybe the fridge went off because there was no light? Did they wash? Maybe I asked my niece to go and wash the vegetable. Maybe she didn't wash them well. All these kind of things you'd be asking. If you're saying this is food poisoning, the hospital would have alerted. Even you as a public health specialist, you would have alerted the health authorities to tell them that, oh, there's an outbreak of food poisoning from this event center, so that they can go and collect food samples for bacterial testing to make sure it doesn't spread. Yeah. And then the other thing that was so big to let us know that, yes, there's an issue with that your certificate is because you would have ensured that your husband was rehydrated immediately. There was so much delay from 7 o'clock in the evening to 5 in the morning. You saw him collapse at 3 o'clock. You went back to bed. 5 o'clock, you now saw him collapsed on the toilet with his eyes in his head. Yeah. So that's what a public health professional would be doing, but you didn't do any of those things. That's the verdict. For me, I think it's all about hygiene. We have spoken on this channel before about, how you seem to have problems with hygiene, from your nails, touching food, not washing your hands, going to the toilet, not washing your hands after doing a number 2 is a huge issue. So more than likely, because of the timeline, this came from your home.
God, so my husband just got back. My head, my children shouting. I heard you guys shouting.
Mommy, we're happy.
Yes, I know. I know you're happy. So let's go and welcome you. I don't cut my poo-poo. Hey, love, Linda.
See, these are the kind of things that you do. You show us on your channel. You're cooking, you have those nails, your nails are not clean, you go to the toilet, you're doing a number 2, you get up, you don't wash your hands, all of these kind of things. So, more than likely, the food poisoning came from your home, Lily. It didn't come from the event center. Yeah? So, this is the reason why we've come to this conclusion. You are wrong about your husband's food being poisoned at the event center. You're saying it was the soup from the event. Remember, his symptoms started before the event and no one else at that event got sick. Yeah? You're saying it's because he ate on an empty stomach. Well, I told you before that food poisoning comes from you should know this. Food poisoning comes from bacteria. It does not come from fasting. The spices were too much. Spices do not cause bacteria. They do not cause bacteria to enter the blood and cause those severe symptoms that he had. Maybe the plate was dirty, you're saying. That also would not transfer bacteria into his blood. You're saying maybe vegetables do this kind of thing. But even if you're saying vegetables do this kind of thing, it was your own vegetables now. So maybe you didn't wash the vegetables, as I was saying to you before. Tell me, does Lily's story add up? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Yeah? I don't think that Lily was acting like a health professional.